Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Movie Chest. This week's picks were Creature from the Black Lagoon, directed by Jack Arnold in 1954, Chinatown, directed by Roman Polanski in 1974, This Is Where I Leave You, directed by Shawn Levy in 2014, and last but not least, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, directed by Alfonso Gomez Rejon in 2015. We had a variety of thoughts and feelings while reviewing these films and watching them, and we're glad you guys are here to be part of the conversation. Enjoy.
Welcome back to another episode of the Movie Chest. This week we picked 4 movies, and last week was a pretty good week, so it was hard to live up to. Yeah. So I don't think this week did, but the movies we did pick were Creature from the Black Lagoon, Chinatown, Me and Earl and Dying Girl, and This Is Where I Leave You. So let's get into them. Which one do you guys want to start with?
Do we want to get our anger out? It seems like some people have something pent up here.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
So which one are we talking about?
Are we talking about Creature?
Yeah, that one works.
The classic Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah,
That was your pick, right?
Yeah, I picked that one. I'm not gonna lie, a few weeks ago, I went on a trip down to get qualified for my next job and all that, and we stopped at this flea market, and I saw a bunch of these old movie posters. So I was like, oh, there's a cool Creature of the Black Lagoon poster on. Look at that. So I picked this movie to justify the purchase of this.
Oh, gotcha.
Poster.
Okay. All right.
But I was also
fair.
I wanted to see what this movie was about because I'm all about creature features, and this is an old one. So I was like, let's see how it compares. But yeah, it's directed by Jack Arnold. Stars Richard Carlson, I believe his name is, and Julie Adams.
Yep.
Yeah, this movie let me down. This one,
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Yeah, it was the shortest movie,
Yeah.
But
it felt the longest.
It felt so long. It was rough.
Oh.
Yeah.
It did, and it's only an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's barely a movie.
Holy
It's
Yeah.
oh man, they were
Yeah.
stuck in front of this stick
Oh my God.
for
Little
so
twig.
long. But
When they pull it out of the water, it's like just a bundle of sticks. That's all it is.
yeah,
The whole movie
Like
is them
20
swimming in this nasty ass
20 minutes of
water,
action.
and this dude who can't blink, fishman who can't
Fish
blink,
Gilman.
and his mouth is open the entire time, just staring at him. And occasionally you see him swimming. It's like, we gotta watch this man with his gaping mouth, and then we gotta watch these dudes in booty shorts
Right.
swimming
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
Like, you have to try and think about what it was in the day, guys.
I
Like,
guess.
That's what I
1954.
Oh my
this
I tried to
movie.
go back to that every time I was like,
Yeah.
am I watching?
So did I.
Dude,
Right.
we talked about that a little bit. We were like, this movie is only 6 years before The Apartment,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
and it's like
So there were
10 years.
quality movies
Yeah.
being
Yeah,
made.
right.
at
10
this
years.
time.
10 years after
No
Citizen
excuse.
Kane.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no excuse
There
for this
isn't.
movie.
Really.
That was my thought process.
Yeah.
Was like after watching The Apartment, that's like old movies can be good.
Right.
The scripts
Exactly.
can be written
Yeah.
well,
Right.
but then the script in this was so bad.
Oh my god.
All the dialogue when the rock guy. Okay, so they get the rocks right. They're on a fucking boat the entire time.
Yeah.
He gets the results from his rock analysis back on the goddamn boat just in time for them to give us some exposition on what they're like looking at in the water. Like,
He's got a working
this
lab
makes
down
sense.
in the down
I
in the
guess.
boat.
Down the boat. Yeah.
that's faster than blood work gets back these days in the
Dude,
hospital.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously.
The plotting and the
Honestly.
pacing in this movie is atrocious, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And there was moments where it's like they're doing the rotenone stuff to knock out the fish.
Yeah.
And they spend 5 minutes of the movie putting it on the surface of the water.
All right, let's row it out.
And then they sit there and they look at it, and then they're like, well, maybe we should put it deeper. Maybe we should make it sink. Then they spend another 5 minutes of the movie making it. It's not adding anything to the movie.
This is not to the intelligence level of biologists.
Right.
Right.
You know,
Right.
these are professionals in their field.
Yeah.
And they're struggling to catch a fish.
The
you know?
dialogue
Right.
is bad too. None of it seems like nothing is serious.
No.
No.
Or should be taken seriously.
It was more like, oh, there's a thing that's gonna be useful later,
Right.
and
Yeah. And
God.
what I took away, my biggest thing that brought it down a lot in rating was the synopsis on Letterboxd. It has this big synopsis. Oh, they got to catch this creature, but then the last sentence it says, oh, and the creature falls in love with the lovely fiancée Kay. No, there was more chemistry between. Hang on, I wrote this down. Let me see. There was more chemistry between David and Mark. I mean, when they were fighting in that
dude.
cabin, and he
yeah.
came up
Get it
behind him
on.
and hugged him, I was like, okay, he's just hugging
I
him
was
at this
like,
point.
ooh.
Yeah. Even the guy wrapped in bandages was like, damn, you guys need to need some
Just
space.
popcorn, just watching it all unfold.
It's just like there was the only time the fish was like around that the lovely Kay was when he was swimming underneath her, and he was just he did that to the guys too. So
Yeah.
touching her foot.
and then,
Yeah.
and then he brings her into a cave and leaves her. Like, wow, some lover you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was so weird, like the longing gazes, and I was like, why?
Yeah.
Like, she didn't, she wasn't nice to you. Like, what?
Yeah,
I
what
mean,
what
you know,
attracted you
like,
to this woman
what?
besides her bathing
I didn't
suit?
even feel the attraction.
No, there was
No.
nothing.
I was like,
There's
oh, this
nothing
is
there.
a weird creature that's following them. Like, I didn't. Like, it is supposed to be like a love story or whatever, but I didn't get that at
No.
all.
Well, that's
No.
what's like. That was probably Guillermo's point.
Yeah.
In The Shape of Water. Like,
Right.
I felt.
I'll
I
do it
saw
right.
this movie. I was like, what the.
Yeah, I
love
saw
in
the
this
creature.
movie?
I can make
was
this
like,
better.
what?
Is there any emotion in this movie? I got to make a movie where there's some emotion and a creature. So like that's what he made.
I just that's what frustrated me the most because I was waiting for that chemistry to happen, and it's only an hour and 10 minutes long, and I'm still waiting, and I'm like, okay, when's this lovely Kay gonna fall, or the fish gonna fall in love with the lovely
Right.
fiance Kay?
He's
No.
already in love.
Right? Yeah, I guess he
It
saw her in
was-
her bathing suit, her one piece, and he was like, "Mm,
Wants to kidnap
Damn.
her.
Yeah.
yeah.
And every time she screams, I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
that's-
here we go again.
Yeah.
There's like classic horror scream, and then every single time you see the creature, it was like that horror sting music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Jesus Christ, like nothing. It just every single time it was the same stinger. I was like,
And then it's like just another excuse for these white men to rip off their shirts
Right.
and jump into the
Yeah.
water.
Get in their booty shorts,
That was-
swim in
yeah.
this murky
I think
fucking
that was
water.
a problem too. Is like I just don't give a fuck about watching these like self-entitled. They're almost like identical twin white men,
Right.
just
Right.
like
It's like you could have
arguing.
right. You could have seen
Yeah.
them as like brothers. And
Yeah.
they're meant to be kind of like rivals.
Well,
And-
actually, I
Right.
think they're lovers. So
I
They-
think
Yeah.
secretly.
I
That
didn't
is
see
why
it.
They
there's
have
so
to
much
be sure.
anger
right?
pent up.
That's what I'm thinking.
That fight down below, and they were like, "Mark, what are you doing?" They're like rubbing on each other.
I just when he grabbed him from behind, I was like, is he gonna throw him or is he gonna fuck him? I'm confused here. What's going on here?
There's the love story.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this movie. I watched the original Blob recently, and I'm starting to come to terms with like there's just because it's old doesn't mean it's good, and there is like I'm starting to feel the level more of like what is schlock and what's like a good old movie.
Yeah.
Because the Blob is just like a terribly acted, terribly plotted movie, and then they have like the cool blobby stuff where it's all practical.
Right.
You've never seen that stuff. You're gonna go to the drive-in type of shit.
Right. Yeah.
And the creature in this was really cool. I mean, the arms were the best part of it.
Right.
When you only saw
Through the
arms
window, like,
Reaching in just slowly.
flopping around. But yeah, and then you see the face, and you're just like,
Yeah, close your
Yeah.
mouth, damn it.
Yeah.
Blink.
Yeah.
It's ugly face, but yeah, so it was like the creature, the dude in that suit, and for me, the captain of the ship were like the only standout like shining lights in this movie.
Yeah.
Like
whoever was in the suit, man, that's the hero of the movie.
yeah,
Right?
the guy
Just
going
for-
through the prosthetics,
Just for
Yeah.
being underwater with all
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah.
There's
Just
two
doing
of
it.
them, I think.
Really?
One
There's
underwater.
it's labeled.
and then-
It says when I paused it on Amazon, it's a labeled as on land and then creature in water, or Gilman or whatever
I
it is.
saw that like there was a different director for all the underwater stuff too, and I mean that's the highlight of the movie for me.
Right.
Like
That's
none
the
of the
entire movie.
none of the
Yeah.
stuff above the water was anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But the actual like just scenes of like cameras under the water filming shit, I was like, oh, this is I'll watch this. You know,
there was like the one scene where he's wrestling with Mark, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is cool. At least it looks like a fish like
Right.
struggling with his prey here. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool, but
I wonder like
Yeah.
how much you've seen at this point in '54 underwater footage.
Right.
Like that.
right,
Right.
yeah,
Like that's got to be a feature of going to the
Yeah.
to the theater or whatever.
that's true.
too.
And you said it in this exotic locale or whatever.
Yeah.
Which also, I mean, I get it's like he's from the Black Lagoon or whatever, but like as a creature that's like hasn't been found, I almost felt like he was like should have been belonging more in like a deep trench, deep sea.
Right.
That's
type
what I was
setting,
wondering.
Like,
What qualifies a lagoon? How big does that have to be?
Yeah,
Is it a pond?
right.
Because this thing looks pretty dinky.
yeah, and why
Yeah.
would you? It's
Yeah,
a paradise,
river.
and you named the Black Lagoon.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I just when she was out swimming, it's like she was swimming forever, and then she's like 10 feet away from the boat, and they're like, "Ma'am,
you're too far away.
that's too dangerous.
back
What are you doing?" It's like this bitch was swimming forever. Like, what is she like treading water? I'm confused.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah, she had to tread water for the movie. To
Yeah.
tread water. Keep swimming, just
Oh.
keep swimming.
Yeah, I was bummed out. I mean, like you said, I feel like old movies. People are like, "Oh, you gotta love it. It's a classic, man."
Classic.
Yeah.
Like it was revolutionary for your time.
Exactly.
But like
Yeah.
the story, like, yeah, there are good old classics, like The Apartment, for instance.
Right.
I hate to just keep comparing it.
Right.
It's so
But, like,
good
the
though.
script is solid.
That's the
Yeah.
pinnacle.
The script wasn't even good in this. Like, it could have these cool effects, but like, give me some good script because that's what I care about.
That's
Yeah.
like while I was watching it, I was literally kind of like rewriting this movie in my head. I was like, if I were to like, this is prime reboot material,
Right.
You know, like you rewrite these characters in modern and make them just write them better. Like,
Yeah.
make the captain the crazy guy who needs to take control when people start dying and shit starts going down. Like, make the relationships actually form.
Mean something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Like deep in it. Well, I read that they were supposed to do something because the monsters with Invisible Man,
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
something.
I don't know if this
it's
was
the
scrapped
Universal monster
Yeah.
stuff.
right.
It was Mummy, right? Too. Was,
Mummy,
I think
Mummy
so,
with Tom
yeah.
Cruise
Mhm.
was
Right.
supposed to be a part of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. The Tom Cruise.
And that's what I wonder too. Is like this is made probably like 20 years after Dracula and Frankenstein. and
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Those are the original ones, and I haven't seen those either. So like
Yeah.
I'm hoping those are like up to a better standard of quality.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Because like that's what I hear from people who like apologize for this movie. They're like, it's just it's the Universal creature monster movie. They're all good. It's like, well, no,
Don't
Like,
do it
if it's like
half-assed.
this, they're not all good.
Right.
And like I mean, people shit on the new like Godzilla movies now because
Yeah.
most of them kind of feel like this, where like you don't care about the characters.
Right.
Yeah.
You're just stringing people along to get to these fights, these confrontations.
Yeah.
Which I think they did well in the most recent one
Yeah.
because they were like, let's
agree.
make this a fucking fighting movie
Yeah.
between two giant monsters.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what it was, and
Yeah.
that's why it was so cool.
Yeah,
sure.
it definitely you felt like the heart behind the creatures
Right.
and the characters following them way more, and like Godzilla vs Kong.
Right.
Like I
And
love that.
Obviously, they can't have these epic fight scenes back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even have Tom Cruise to hold his breath for fucking whatever 20 minutes. And this guy, I was
they
reading,
have
it was like he
Fishman.
held his breath for 4 minutes. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that's exciting. But anyway, sorry for that guy. I mean, you probably did a good job, buddy. But what I'm saying is, I know they can't do that back then with
Yeah.
what they do with Godzilla and all that shit now. But I mean, put a little more effort into your
Right.
script.
Right.
You can't
Yeah.
just be like, all right, let's make this movie and let's make these practical effects something people are going to be like, wow, that's revolutionary, man.
Right.
But it really doesn't do anything
the
for the
movie
later.
sucked.
Yeah.
At the
It
end of the
doesn't
day,
age well.
Did you
Yeah,
relate to any of the
definitely not.
characters?
Nope.
Right,
Like, I
no.
didn't. I would have been fine with all of them dying. I would have been like,
Right.
fuck
I
these
wanted
people.
more of
Like-
them to die, dude.
Honestly.
All the
Yeah.
deckhands kept dying. I was like, damn, I want to watch them.
Well, dude, and like I was like starting to identify with Mark's point of like people are fucking dying.
Exactly.
Like we're
Better
gonna kill.
go.
Like we're gonna get justice. Like we're gonna bring this thing back.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
so I was identifying with the wrong characters.
Yeah.
Like,
Even like with the monster, they went into his area.
territory,
So
yeah.
you'd be like, "Oh my gosh,
His
no,
swamp.
this is his this is his
Right.
home."
We're
But you don't
invasion,
even
yeah.
care. Like kill him, whatever.
Yeah.
Kill Gilman, whatever his name is.
Whatever the creature's name is,
Yeah.
bastard. Wasted an
And
hour and
the,
10 minutes of my time.
The ending felt really rushed.
It
did. Yeah.
It just ends.
deserved. Yeah, I mean, I know like a lot of movies, older movies, just kind of end
Mm-hmm.
without like pomp and circumstance. This movie did like they just did the same thing they did for the last 30 minutes and then it ended. I was
Yeah.
just like,
They
oh.
finally just caught it on land and
Right.
fucking
Yeah.
shot him.
Yeah, That's back in the cave that they left or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, no, yeah. Could just I wanted so much more, and
Yeah.
I mean, I got a cool poster out of it. So
The poster's dope.
Yeah.
Like,
Poster was good. Yeah.
that's
Cool.
what. That's why the movie's so good. People saw the poster. And
Yeah.
like,
They're like,
Classic.
yeah,
What
right.
a classic.
I gave it 3 stars. I could
Wow.
see less.
I think I gave it 2.5.
I try to
it's
give
a
like
movie.
the appreciation to it.
Yeah.
You see, I took your
don't know.
concept with 2.5 stars,
Yeah.
and I said this movie didn't even accomplish what it was set out to do
Yeah. That's
because
fair.
of that love story between the creature and the lovely fiance Kay.
Yeah.
Oh my
Because there was nothing there,
That's
so I gave it
fair.
2.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. I just felt kind of. I thought I was being like a spoiled brat because I'm so used to all this CGI. I was
Right.
like, ew, what is this? But I gave it a 3 too because of that mindset. But now,
It could go down. There are
2.
even moments at the beginning. It kind of reminded me of Jungle Cruise, the new one, like where they're on like a
Yes.
I wrote
screen,
it down
projected
here.
and they're
Yeah,
they're
Yeah.
like there's
a
like
little
a
fucking creek.
projected background of them just like a boat moving, and they're
Yeah.
like clearly on a set with a boat.
Right.
And I'm just like, man, this is like already lazy for what you're trying to do.
Right.
It's just like,
Mhm.
Yeah, there was so much more room
yeah.
for improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bundle of sticks, really? You couldn't get that big ass boat past that bundle of sticks?
It took forever
It's
to
hard,
loop
dude.
a wire around
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, come on, people.
In and out of the water, in and out. That's
Yeah,
all you
right.
could,
Tossing
that's all
that,
they could do.
whatever that rotenone, yeah.
And I liked how the creature got right through that net, but everything else, the creature just seemed weak. You know, everything hurt. It like stubbed its toe, and I was like, oh, back in the water.
It takes like 2 or 3 harpoons too, and
Yeah.
Right?
like nothing.
It's like small inconvenience. Ow.
Yeah.
All right, should we move on? Have we said
Yeah,
we
I
shit on
guess.
it enough?
I could go. I feel like we could go on, but
Hey,
Yeah.
you know, if
We
anything,
should.
I'm glad we got another stinker. You know.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't you this time.
At least like we don't have like. I'm okay with shitting on this movie. Like I
Right.
know some people will probably listen to this and be like, "Oh my god,
Right.
they're just hating."
don't understand.
It's
art.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm okay with it.
Art
And-
should move you, and this did not move
Yeah,
you.
no.
Moved me to anger.
Yeah,
at times,
right.
but
Exactly.
Other than that,
I guess like I can lead into Chinatown though,
Okay.
because this
Yeah.
is like I picked this one, directed by Roman Polanski, written by Robert Towne, and it stars Jack Nicholson, Faye Dunaway, and John Huston. And this was one like I've been told for years, like
Yep.
this is the movie. Like
Right.
if you haven't seen this movie, you don't actually love movies. You're just lying to yourself. Like.
You
And
don't
I
know
was-
what movies are.
Yeah, I was like, okay, fuck, I'm gonna watch the
Right.
movie, and like that's why I picked it. Finally, I was like, I could not pass this one up when it came up because I have to see the movie,
Right.
and it was fine. Like I kept wondering why it was
Me too.
elevated to such an iconic status.
honestly,
I don't really get it, but I mean,
I kept leaning in, thinking, okay, this is where it's gonna get good. This is where it's gonna get good.
Right,
but it was
right.
just okay
Yeah.
the entire time. It just
Yeah.
stayed at being, oh, this was okay.
Good.
I mean, watch L.A. Confidential. It does it all better, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
But
I haven't seen that one. I know it's going for like noir,
right, even the
classic
color
Yeah.
tones and everything, you know, it
Yeah.
just feels like that, and the music
yeah.
going on in the background.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know, it didn't do it for me.
For the pacing for me was it just slogged a little too much, and I felt just like I mean, you're kind of with Jack Nicholson, right? Who's like this guy who seems like he can kind of see through everything and
Right.
like, is looking for all the answers,
Yeah.
you know, and has a good method of finding them. But like even from the get-go, I knew the wife was like, you know, like
involved.
yeah, like she was at the key. And
Well,
like,
even he suspected it. The whole
right,
time.
Right.
and like and he's constantly going back and forth, being like, I know you know something, like you're hiding something.
Yeah.
I know you know something, and like we're just like slowly being led into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys could help me, but I didn't understand why he even like bothered to continue after she dropped the charges. I
Right.
felt like he's not the type of guy that
Yeah.
would be like, no, I got to get to the bottom of this.
Right.
You know, this hurt my pride, but it
Yeah.
didn't. It
He
didn't
was
do anything
just
to
worried
him.
about his reputation, and
Right.
then he
Right.
kept
Yeah.
going.
But his reputation was fine, and then now it's like, why is he still involved? He didn't
Right.
seem like the type of guy that would do that.
Yeah.
He gave that,
That
whole
seemed
speech
a little strange to me.
about like, you know, back when I was working in Chinatown for the police, like I was directly responsible for hurting someone when I was trying not to hurt someone. It's like, so why are you pursuing this
Right.
thing? Like
He never
it's-
learns, dude.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's Chinatown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand. They mentioned Chinatown a couple times, and it ends in Chinatown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that was just like a sloppy way to tie the title.
title.
Together,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they were
100%.
yeah, they were like, forget about it. It's just Chinatown.
It's
I was
just
like,
Chinatown.
what?
Just get out of here, man.
It's
I was
Chinatown,
just
right?
like,
Okay.
Yeah, like I remember watching it for the first time because, like you said, I was told, films have a language, and this is like, the language.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I think it's just because, I don't know. It's just sometimes it's
It's
hard
too
for me to
hyped.
separate art and
The
real
creator.
life, knowing
Mhm.
like what the director did,
100%.
Oh, yeah.
That was in the back of my mind too.
and like
Right.
it's part of the
Yeah.
storyline
Yeah.
too. And
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
A little
The-
creepy, huh?
the
It
ending
is.
to me. Like it seems like an edgy kid writing a story to be like, and then every day, whoever the villain is wins, and then it just ends.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
and then like you said, with like literally a young woman gets taken away with cops just watching,
right,
and then that's where you leave it. It's like he wrote that to like satisfy his own desires.
Sadistic.
Yeah.
I don't.
Weird.
It rubbed me the wrong way, especially
Mhm.
because that ending wasn't justified in any of the film
No.
that I
Nope.
just watched. In my opinion,
Right. It was like the most shocking thing, and I didn't even like it. Like,
Right.
It was
yeah.
just there to be shocking. I feel
right.
like,
Yeah.
Right.
and I felt terrified and not shocked, but like I didn't feel like it was successful to
Yeah.
me. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Even the way it was revealed, he was like, or when she was like, "She's my sister," and then he slaps her like 50 times.
Yeah.
I was like, "What
Slaps
the
her
fuck
again.
is going on?"
It's my daughter. It's my sister. She's my daughter. She's my
Actually, when that was happening, I was calculating in my head. I'm like, how is this possible? And then
Yeah,
it
same.
clicked, and then she said it, or they figured it out on the screen too. And I looked at Sarah, and I was like, I was figuring that out at the same time.
see the gears turning.
Yeah.
it is a weird twist. Did not expect that.
Right.
That way the story to get.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you know the dad's kind of a scumbag when he's having the dinner with him.
Yeah.
He's asking the type of questions, all the right questions, kind of. You know.
Right.
I was just like, you can see through a lot of the characters, you
Right.
know, and it's just like,
And like Jack Nicholson, he's supposed to be like, good at what he does. He finds those shiny thing in the pond at the beginning,
right.
but never goes back to it until
Yeah.
the end.
That oh my god, that burned inside of me. I was
Like,
like,
that would be
you call yourself
key.
an invest like a private
Right.
eye, and
And he makes all this fucking racket when he's following the guy. It's like, come on, you're
Yeah.
sloppy.
See,
You're
this
sloppy.
is like what I assume people are like. This is the visual language of film that you don't understand. He saw the shiny object in the water, and later he went and looked at it again. You know, like
Yeah.
that's and then like she's like the Faye Dunaway gets like a bruise, and then she gets shot through the eye at the end or whatever. I'm like, oh, they paid it off. Like that's not enough to make it like a genius piece of art
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
to like
I
pay
don't
off
get it.
a visual thing like that.
Right.
to
Right.
me.
just
I don't
linking visual.
Yeah,
like,
it's not even
purely
like
visual
thematically
things.
linked or anything.
Yeah, right.
It's just
Yeah.
all straight up like visual language of
Right.
it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's not justified.
And like
Yeah.
you said,
Yeah,
like
justified.
if he's the private investigator, he's gonna walk over and look at that immediately when he sees it in the water.
Yeah.
But for the story to unfold, he
Right.
must wait.
Like
Yeah.
if he saw that thing and then like he tries to get it out and then he like stops because she comes up and like
Right.
I feel like he's the type of character who would like finagle the situation where she'd go off and get something
Right.
in the house and he'd go grab it.
Yeah.
Or like find a way to get alone again so that he could go grab it.
Yeah, he would have done
and then
that
continue
easy.
the conversation
Right.
or like get it while he's leaving or something.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, it's just.
I also
People
didn't
weren't smart.
understand like the big story picture that was also happening with the water.
With the
and,
water,
like,
yeah.
the farmers.
It's like a really slow burn private
I
eye
just-
story.
I don't understand how that all connects. It's like they wanted to tell.
It's
Oh,
just
man, I wish we all watched Candyman, but it's like they wanted to tell one story, but they had to put it into another story to tell that story,
Right.
and it just
it all
I don't
comes
know.
down to the greedy douchebag
yeah.
dad wanting
Right. Dad.
to just be a greedy douchebag.
Right.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
yeah, I didn't understand that aspect of it, and
Yeah.
that part is what drug it down even more to the part to where it was like, this is extremely long for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No points.
I mean, yeah, to that point, like if as a private investigator, you and we're with him, like it feels like we're being taken off the track, like you're being led.
Astray.
You're following these little pieces all in the wrong places, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a good private eye would see through these things, or you
Yeah.
know,
Right.
The mystery was like compelling enough for me. At first, I was like, no, I don't give a fuck about the water situation.
Right.
But the more I was forced to sit and watch, and like it unfolded itself
Mhm.
like decently nice. But I just like none of it was like it was just trying to be like cool and overly long in its like style.
Yeah.
In every scene, like scene to scene, it just didn't like entice you enough to care about the mystery. I
Right.
felt.
And none of
Yeah.
the characters were interesting enough for you to feel for anything. I mean,
Right.
Right.
Jack Nicholson, great actor. I thought he did
He killed
very
it.
well.
He
Yeah,
played his
he
role
killed it.
just fine. Yeah.
But like,
Right.
I didn't care for that character. I thought he
Yeah.
was too inconsistent for me to
Right.
get behind anything that he was doing.
I
You
agree.
know.
Yeah.
I agree.
But and same with the woman. I mean, she was the most consistent, but at the same time, it was just I didn't care enough about her
Yeah.
story until the reveal at the end. You're like, damn, that sucks.
It's
Right.
well,
Well,
yeah.
Then she fucking dies. So it's
Yeah.
like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And the whole it's weird to like even think about it, but the whole part about them sleeping together, I think was only for them to say, "Oh, he actually cared about this woman
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he got her hurt," kind of like how he did before,
Right.
wink wink.
Right.
But
When that
I
happened,
just-
got
Ugh.
too close to the case or whatever.
yeah, when that happened, I definitely felt like I was like watching something that's like already tread upon ground.
Right.
Once he got together with her, I was like, okay, like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
why,
right.
why are we doing this?
Again, with the inconsistency, it just didn't make
Yeah.
sense for them to
Right.
get together. You know,
Right.
like,
But
of course they got together because a guy and a girl together are always
she
gonna end
saved
up-
his life.
Exactly.
Let's have sex.
Yeah, there was an
Just
early
like-
scene in this movie that kind of set the tone of like, is this genius or am I just like reading into this too much or whatever? He's like talking to his assistant or whatever, Jack Nicholson, and he's like saying about how like, let me explain something, buddy. This business takes finesse, you know, like.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, what's he gonna say about the finesse that it's gonna take? And then somebody just walks in the door and is like, hey, Jack Nicholson, come on. So the scene just ended as if he was about to say something, and I was like, is this like attempting to say something, or is he just this writer or whatever just acting cool,
Right.
and like
Edgy.
not having anything, like no substance to back
Right.
it up?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like
And then he goes
and I
on to
think I
tell
kinda
that
found
Chinaman joke with
Yeah.
and it's like, wow, this guy, like, yeah, this finesseful guy
yeah,
is
he's
oblivious
bad.
here. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Read the room, man.
that
Those
the-
guys
is
were
that the-
quite obvious.
Right.
Is that the message though? Is he like, is that he's not a good private eye?
I guess
He just
Maybe.
if
thinks
he
he's
failed
cool?
on the force and now he's still
I
failing.
don't know.
Yeah.
It's
I
just-
don't know. I just the fact that it's one of the classics.
Mhm.
Honestly, after I watched it the first time, I didn't like it, and I was like, "What am I missing?"
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
know what I
I feel
mean?
the same way.
And I hate that they're. I don't know.
Right. Well, like I felt like was like lying to myself if I were to give this movie 4 stars.
Right.
Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to give it 4 stars, but I can't. Like,
Yeah.
I can't. I just can't
Nope.
do it.
I
Yeah.
was nervous to see what you guys said because
Yeah.
I'm like, if you guys liked it, and I'm like, oh, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I wanted to like it so bad, and
Me
I
too.
kept wanting it to get better, and I'm like,
Mhm.
all right, there's got to be something here that drives it. And then it was like half over. I'm like, anytime now,
Yeah, right.
anytime now, it's gonna get
Something's
better. I just kept thinking, I'm just gonna go back and watch LA Confidential because that one is like a noir movie that's actually compelling, and you care
Yeah.
about the characters. You know,
Right.
like, I don't know. I know it came after this, so I can't say, oh,
Right.
you know, they did do it better in my opinion. But
Yeah,
everyone's,
right.
it's a classic, man. Roman Polanski is a
Laid the
genius. Is he
groundwork.
though?
I guess
What
it
I,
did,
uh,
but
Yeah, I'm sure that was a huge inspiration
Right.
for that type of movie.
Mhm.
it's the foundation, but it's a pretty rickety foundation.
Right.
I feel.
But that's why it's hard for classics to like go back once you've seen the story like
Right.
done better.
Yeah.
Now
Mhm.
Right.
it's just hard to watch.
Yeah.
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 We'll say though, I think the biggest takeaway I got from this movie is that smoking cigarettes is cool.
Cool
Yeah.
as
Cool.
Yeah.
I need to get me one of them cigarette cases.
Yeah, man.
That big ass cigarette case that he carries in his inner
Yeah.
pocket.
Yeah, because like
With
half
that.
the meandering scenes of this movie are just like pulling out a cig,
Lighting up
lighting
a
the
cigarette.
cig,
Yeah.
asking if they want to light a cig.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to light a cig? I'm gonna smoke my cig. Like,
I
that's
just
like
like
half
the
the
sound
movie.
of the lighter. Like, it's like yes.
Yeah. And it's even in like the poster, I'm pretty sure it's just like Jack Nicholson with a cig and the giant smoke cloud
Yeah.
enveloping the
Over
top
his
and
face.
corner of the
Cigarettes
poster.
are
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's I don't know. Just seemed like it's like trying to be edgy, you know. It's just
Right.
like a little bit too much for me.
Yeah.
Trying a little too hard.
I can't remember. I think I gave it either 3 or 3.5.
Yeah.
I know I kept jostling a lot of these around.
I gave it 3.5.
Yeah, I did too. I was waffling between a lot of these.
Yeah, me too,
movies
actually.
this week.
Like I could see it being 4, you know, but just for me, it's
For
not.
some people,
Yeah, it's just not the movie for me.
Yeah.
And especially like I try to have level expectations, but when you hype up a movie like this fucking
Right.
high for me,
Mm-hmm.
and then it turns out that it's just an okay movie, like,
Right.
okay, like
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
that
Right.
didn't really do it for me. But so yeah, I
Yeah.
think 3.5 is where
Yeah.
we
I gave it
Yeah.
a 3 because
3,
you
yeah.
know.
Edgy,
I just can't.
Just like the movie.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Edgy.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
That's fair. Like, I almost feel like 3 is a more fair rating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, though.
Okay, guys, now we're gonna get haters.
Yeah. We are film buffs, I promise. Just not with
Yeah.
Chinatown, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll rewatch it or something. And
Please
I
don't
don't-
make
I-
me
I don't know
if
rewatch
it'll
it
get better.
the
Yeah,
third
like, I
time.
was hoping it would get better on rewatch, but
Yeah.
Uh,
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, please like it. Maybe I'm in a different mindset. You
Mm.
know, I'm more
At least the lighthouse.
knowledgeable.
You've seen more, yeah.
Exactly.
The rewatch of the lighthouse made you come to terms.
oh
with it.
yeah, yeah.
See, so
Oh, true.
Yeah, I
I
was
can see a good
Chinatown
movie the
didn't happen
second
with you.
time.
right,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I
just
know.
like another letdown, and then you watch like movies like The Apartment and The Lighthouse that just nail.
right?
Yeah.
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 Damn.
I mean, I'm glad I got it done. You
Yeah.
know, now I
Yeah,
can
it's off
say
the
I've
list.
seen it, and then
Yeah.
now every time somebody is like, "Have you seen Chinatown?" I'll be like, "Yeah."
Yes.
Be like,
Yes. Why do
3.5.
you like it?
Let me bring up why I think it's not how good you,
And then
like, you think it
ask
is.
them why they like it because I'm curious why
Yeah.
people like this movie so
Right,
much.
right, seriously.
Next time
Yeah.
someone asks you about Chinatown, you just flip out a cigarette case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just
Like,
Well,
You think it's
Here we
pretty
go.
cool, huh?
you got a lighter?
Let's smoke and talk about this.
Oh my gosh.
What you guys want to do next? Get into some like more feel good movies now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these were.
Mhm.
I mean, out of these 4,
Yeah.
these 2, good,
Yep.
pretty good
You
ones.
want to talk about me and Earl and the Dying Girl?
Sure.
This has been on my list for a long time.
Yeah, me too.
This was my favorite one. I
Yeah.
gave it. I'm going to start off right at the bat with my rating. I gave it 4.5.
Nice. Yeah.
I don't know. I just really enjoyed the quirkiness
Mhm.
that they put in there, the comedy, but also the serious subject matter. And then
Yeah.
there's that scene where they're talking about prom, and
Mhm.
the camera just stays in one spot, and they're
Yeah,
having that
dude.
emotional scene, and I'm like, damn.
That was
Yeah.
a long scene.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will say, like, I had seen this movie already before. I had it
Yeah.
at 3.5, and I moved it up to a 4 after watching it again.
It's just
Nice.
a well-rounded story, and like the
Yeah.
comedic things. Like one of my favorite parts was every time that his crush would touch him, the moose would
The
step
moose,
on.
yeah.
And I'm like, but then when he dodges it the one time, that's when he snaps, and he's like,
Right,
"Hey,
he's like,
listen
why are you
here."
like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is
Why are you
a
doing
big
this to
thing.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really liked it. I liked the fact that, unlike some other couple movies we watched this week, the characters were consistent.
Yep.
Yes.
And it wasn't like it didn't end with him feeling any different about like the main girl. Like he had that love for her, but it wasn't that romantic love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
right.
that I have this friendship. I've never had said, I've had a friendship before.
Right.
And he finally felt that.
Yeah, it felt like it was a defining friendship
Right.
for him,
And
then it just
impacted his life.
right,
Right.
defined him and Earl even
right.
more.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
So I really liked that. It made me feel good.
yeah.
I really
Nice.
enjoyed that whole aspect of it, and I like the main character a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really
Killed it.
related to him.
Me
Like
too,
Like his
Yeah.
shtick or his problems he was going through in high school.
Yeah,
Right.
same.
Yeah.
I really thought he was going to be this whiny pick me boy
Right.
in
Yeah.
the beginning.
Kind of is.
But yeah,
A little bit.
he is kind of. But that's okay because, teenagers usually go through that.
Yeah.
Right.
But just the whole, like I said, towards the end, I was like a sobbing mess.
Oh, I know, dude.
And I felt a lot of feelings
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
movie. But even, the main character, what's his name? Greg?
Greg Gaines.
Greg.
Yeah.
I even related to him, and I don't know, it's just a good movie, I think.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like poignant.
Oh
Like
my
it was
gosh,
sad, but also had moments where it was warm and light.
Right.
It
For
kind of
sure.
reminded me of Wes Anderson a little bit, like the
Yeah.
color
A little bit,
scheme.
yeah.
That's what
and-
I like. That's something I really appreciated about watching it this time through was like from a filmmaker's view or like a fledgling filmmaker. Like you can appreciate like hating everything you make, like or like thinking it's not good enough, or
Right.
thinking you're not good enough, like feelings of an inadequacy. And like Greg, like Earl is like the perfect person to like give him confidence,
Yeah.
and so is I forget her name.
The
Dying Girl?
Yeah, the dying girl. Man, I
I forget
feel
too.
bad. She died, and I feel bad. But
Rachel.
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 Yeah, like. Yeah, I don't know. It's like these characters gave Greg confidence,
Right.
just by kind of being there
Yeah.
with him, spending
And
time
like
with
he
him.
was just spending his entire life, going through the motions, getting through school,
Yeah,
and then the dying girl comes into his life, and he starts going bad in school because all these emotions come into play, and it's just kind of like, damn, this guy, he's got it bad. He's finally understanding that there are people out there who are good for him. He doesn't have
Yeah.
to push everybody away, and
right.
it was just I really liked
Relationships
it.
are like worth pursuing,
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
a lot of the time.
And I
Yeah.
think one of the things that really got hit me into where it was like, okay, I relate hard to this. My friends and I I say friends plural. My friend and I used to make quote movies, but we didn't have any cameras or stuff. So I would write the scripts, and then we'd go to his house after school and act them out like we were being filmed.
Nice.
So it was just kind of like we would take concepts that we watched and make them our own concepts.
Yeah.
So that's where I was just kind of like, yeah, this is me, the
Yeah.
awkward weird guy, and
Yeah.
my friend. We make quote movies together, and we're just the freaks,
Yeah,
But,
Right.
dude.
The movie making montage was probably my favorite part, where it
Yeah.
just goes through all the ones
So
that they
good.
made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got like 7 seals.
Yeah.
Just someone flops the seal down on the chessboard.
Just I don't know. That's for a movie lover. That's perfect.
Yeah, all the costumes and
Yeah. Even the titles.
Yeah.
When I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh,
just
that's funny.
reworking all of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and what's his name? Ron Swanson as his dad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Perfect.
Oh,
Nick Offerman.
Yeah, Nick
Mhm.
Offerman. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it was just me. I don't know. It might have been my mood or whatever. This one was fine. It didn't really elevate for me, and I'm not. I hear you guys talking about it, I'm like, man, maybe this was a better movie than I gave it credit for. Maybe it's just I wasn't like ready to like get into a teen story or something like
Yeah.
that again. And
Yeah.
I've seen similar movies like this,
Right.
Right.
and this did have enough of a quirky style to give it its own little thing.
Right.
And
Mhm.
I was kind of comparing it to like Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you definitely feel the vibes of the other movies that have
Yeah.
done this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was good, and like it hinged on the main character, which I did relate to him a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that overall that carried it for me.
Yeah.
The titles were fun. I thought that added, like, the overall meta structure of it. Kind of, maybe I gave it like too much harsh outlook because it's telling you like she's gonna live, then she's gonna die, then she's gonna live, and then she's gonna be fine, then she dies, and it's like they're playing with you, and I can like appreciate that they're not being a reliable narrator to you.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I
it
think-
just kind of rubbed me the wrong way on the first watch. But maybe
Same. The first watch, I,
Mhm.
that's what turned me off at the end of this movie. I was like, damn it, like they weren't, like he was lying to me. And then I watched
Yeah.
this time, I was like, well, I'm kind of glad he was lying to me. Like,
It's-
he was lying to himself.
Right.
Right,
Which is
yeah.
what I liked about it.
Dang.
I was like, this dude is just saying this because it's what he wants to believe to happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's I don't know. That's relatable because
That's
it's like
truthful.
I didn't even think about that. I was just like,
Right.
you asshole.
it's just
How
like,
dare
my
you?
feelings.
Messing with
until
me.
it happens. You
Yeah.
want to believe it's not true.
Yeah, it's not
Right.
real until
And,
it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
It just
Yeah.
That's
Oh
good.
my God. I mean, the part where they eat John
Oh, the
Bernthal's
edible,
soup.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
we didn't eat anything else except for, what is it, like
The
ramen
cookies.
Spit and
Yeah.
Phil's
Yeah.
cookies. Yeah. And it's like,
Oh.
yeah.
the drug dealer's cookies.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Then he comes in, he's like, "You ratted me out."
Yeah, I love that too. Is like the goth Mayhew, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Like, you just made a mortal enemy. Like puts the goth.
Yeah.
I like how he's like kind of cool with all the friend groups, and then
Yeah.
slowly over the course of the movie, everyone starts to like look down on him or
Right.
hate him or whatever.
Right.
And one of the smartest like themes, I guess, that I found in the movie that I was exploring was when he's trying to make like the documentary about Rachel,
Yeah.
and like he knows that there's nothing like there to make because like it's hard to find like the story of that.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like he was fishing for something to make because the whatever the Monica, or I don't know what her name was, but she like wanted him to make the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like fishing for content or like themes, and like the movie was trying to do that too. I just felt like it paralleled
Yeah.
the story weirdly. In that
for sure.
kind
I
of
mean, you
moment.
can when like you see him and Earl like watching what they have and
Mhm.
realizing like, well, fuck, like we're just documenting this girl dying.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
this is not something we should be making, really.
Right.
Mhm.
Because they don't really know her.
Right,
yeah.
Because it's been less than a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I
Right.
think made me appreciate the end when how that what's his name the teacher was like even after they died you kind of learn more about them.
Right.
And
Story
when he
keeps
was seeing the
unfolding.
squirrels in the wall
Yeah.
and the books,
All the
and I
books.
was
All the
like,
books you
oh,
cut out.
yeah.
And I really liked the end when he's writing the letter to the college, and he's like, here's my movie, but be warned, like,
The
they
last
killed the last person
Yeah.
that watched it,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like that's how you feel about the work that you make, It's like,
Yeah.
I think this sucks, but it might be good,
Right.
to
Right.
the
Yeah.
viewer, although it might kill some people.
Right.
Who
Right.
knows?
I was gonna say
Yeah.
it was another movie with narration.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I wrote that
I was
down
like,
right
wow.
away.
I
was like,
can't
here
help
we
but
go.
think
Like,
about that now.
narration.
Yeah, I just like notice it too much now or
Yeah.
something.
Right. Just aware of
Or
it.
we're just on a
Yeah.
streak of
Mhm.
narration movies.
Yeah.
What do you think? Did it work in this movie?
I think it was like built into the story
Mhm.
enough
Yeah.
that it worked.
Yeah.
Kind of
yeah.
in Greg's head.
It never
Throughout all
like
of it.
faltered.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
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 And I thought it did enough. I'm assuming these were moments like that aren't real to life. But when his mom's like, she makes like the annoying call to action for him to go meet Rachel or whatever and talk to her, and like he's like writhing around on the ground, and she just continually is yelling.
Yeah.
He's like climbing up the stairs
Yeah.
and like into his room.
And I'm assuming that didn't actually happen, but that's like what it feels like as a teenager when your
Right.
mom is yelling at you to do something.
Yeah,
You're
for
like,
sure.
it put you in the experience of the teenager pretty
yeah,
well.
that was a scene that like I just felt that like I
Yeah.
felt his feelings. I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
I feel that way every day going to work.
yeah, for real.
Same.
Yeah, no, I really liked it. I mean, I'm glad I finally watched it, and
Me
Yeah.
too.
I mean that last
loved it.
scene in the hospital when they're watching the movie, it's just like,
Damn.
it's a cool. First of all, like what he's making is like an awesome stop motion film,
Right.
And then and just where they're at in the story, you're just like,
Yeah.
ooh,
It was,
Yeah.
pulls on those heartstrings.
Olivia Cook, low-key, carried the movie, obviously.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even shaved her head.
I mean, dedicated.
Wait,
right
really?
early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And she just has like an emotional sadness that she can always
She
like
does.
get to somehow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like in those, she's got those eyes.
Yeah.
It was
Big
all
eyes.
believable, and that's what I loved about that scene. That the camera just stayed in that one spot because
Yeah.
all the emotion happening in that
Yeah.
one long
Yeah.
take, and it moves just one time when he finally leaves the room, and it,
Right.
Real.
yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the best scenes
In the
in
movie.
it's probably my
No,
favorite.
it was
honestly.
one of the most like the ones that stood out to me.
Yeah.
most.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, we're just like we're in it, like we're
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
like yeah,
It starts out lighthearted, and then
Yeah.
he realizes
Yeah.
It's real, serious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is a
because like
serious
most of the
thing.
movie, it's kind of like them just going, and then that scene is like time stops and
Yeah.
everything's
Yeah.
real,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
yeah,
coming to it.
God
Yeah.
damn, that was good.
good movie.
No, yeah,
That's when I started crying a lot.
Really?
And it
Yeah,
just
that's
never
what triggered
stopped.
it.
It's like all
Yeah.
those emotions are like pent
Yeah.
up, and now they're being released.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
dams are broken.
Yeah.
I think Earl is MVP for having the most lines about titties.
Titties.
You gonna play with them titties?
You
bro,
think you
right?
play with them titties?
I love his like brother too. He's like, I whoop your ass up all up and down the street,
Yeah.
bro. Like,
Come up here so we can eat you and talk about his dog.
I thought
my
Earl was
God.
fun. He's like, he knows exactly. Like, I love when he breaks down exactly what Greg's about.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
he just
just
like
keeps it real, like tells
yeah,
tells
Right.
it's like kind of the
Yeah.
meta outside the character, outside the story character a little
Yeah.
bit. He just
Yeah.
like can comment perfectly on what's going on. A little
And
bit.
then when he's telling her about it, he's sitting right there, melting down because of the drugs still.
Yeah.
He's just talking about it, what he is, what he's about, and he's just kind of staring. He sees the pandas,
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I gave it 3.5. It nailed it enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe if I rewatched it again, I'd have a little more of an emotional response. But,
yeah.
yeah, it's just a
Same.
good story, I feel.
Yeah, it
I
was
really enjoyed that.
solid.
Yeah.
Very good.
But one of the things I would love to write is like a drama like that. Not a teenage drama because I don't really like teenage dramas. This one did it for me, but like,
Yeah.
something where something real like that happens,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you show what it really feels like on TV? Because,
Yeah.
you see it on TV, but then when it happens to you, you're kind of like, damn, this is nothing like the movies,
Right.
Mhm.
So,
I guess that would lead into This Is Where I Leave You, because like that's like I felt this was my favorite movie out of the four, weirdly.
Yeah.
Same.
But it was because I felt the drama more of this, like it pulled me into the
Yeah.
reality of it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that one had a lot of emotional things for me too. For a comedy, I'm
Yeah.
like, damn you, Jason Bateman.
Right.
Right? I
Why are you
wrote
doing
Sad
this to
Boy
me?
Jason Bateman.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. The book is also really good.
yeah.
I don't think it's written by Jonathan Tropper. I think he also wrote the screenplay.
He did, yeah.
But I don't think I've ever read an author who made me relate to a middle-aged white man.
Yeah, no,
Ever.
I got you.
But I just remember crying a lot reading
Yeah.
this book because it was super sad.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of sad to see parts of it kind of missing.
Mhm.
But I still love this movie a
Yeah.
lot.
I feel like since Jonathan Tropper, like since he wrote the novel, I think he probably knew how to like cut it down to the movie version
Yeah.
with getting the important parts.
Right.
But I mean, obviously, he probably had to sacrifice some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess because like with characters like Ari.
Hori.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jason Bateman's homegirl.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like you can tell
More.
we could go into it
There's-
more,
Mhm.
but yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like you had a little. Okay, not every character, but most characters you could relate with
Yeah.
their
Oh, yeah.
situation, their story. But for me, it was Jason Bateman and Adam Driver
Dude, same.
because like Adam Driver was like
he's the man child.
right
Yeah.
and
The
like
youngest brother.
The
He's
black
trying to.
sheep
he's
Yeah.
got to
in the
like keep
family.
the and that's I mean recently with what happened with me, I was like that's how I felt. I'm trying to like be strong for everybody who's around, and not try to hold it together a little more
Right.
Right.
and things of that nature. So that's how I related to him. And then Jason Bateman, his was a little different when they were like, tell a memory of your dad. And he was like, I can't think of one.
Mhm.
I still, to this day, can't think of a single memory with my dad
Yeah.
that's either enjoyable or otherwise,
Mhm.
But so that's where I was like, damn, this movie is a comedy, but like, what the hell?
Yeah,
You know?
right, yeah.
Mhm.
It-
So
it-
that sucked me in there.
It like perfectly encapsulated like the adult event where you like have to go sit with your family. I mean, the funeral obviously is like sad,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I really was like behind Jason Bateman. I just like him as an actor.
Yeah,
I think he
so
just has
good.
like some type of relatability
So
that he
good.
can always portray.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think he's in the same tier as Jason Sudeikis for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
glad
both
you
of
mentioned
them.
that.
My
I actually
favorite
wrote
white
that
boys.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Horrible Bosses is my favorite comedy, and
Mhm.
like
That's
both of them
so good.
Such a
together.
good one,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Chef's kiss.
Jason Bateman, and he's got so much talent. Like, I watched The Outsider with, and he directed the first 2 episodes. Those episodes killed it. After
yeah.
he stopped directing, I was like, damn, bring him back. You know,
yeah, I feel that,
I think
yeah.
he's great talent. Sorry, I
Yeah.
just want to
That and Ozark. I don't know if you watch Ozark, but
Started
So
it.
good.
Yeah, I
he's
need
a,
to.
He's a main writer behind that and main act,
Mhm.
like starring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good crime
It
movie.
really just endeared me to the movie to watch these comedic actors take a stab at like their dramatic stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It just made me want to watch them more just to see how
Yeah.
they're gonna do it.
Yeah,
or
Right.
dude,
how they
and I
land
like.
it.
I don't know. I was like, I think I just like Tina Fey too.
Yeah, me too.
Mhm.
Surprisingly, I did too.
Yeah?
She's usually just okay for me.
Yeah.
I was
But
like, I
like,
think
I really enjoyed her.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
people like lump her in with Amy Poehler.
Right.
I don't really
Mhm.
care for Amy Poehler personally.
Wow.
Maybe.
Sir?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I've
It's
seen Parks
okay.
and Rec. I've seen Parks and Rec, and she's fine in that. Like she's
That's
great,
so passive aggressive.
but
We're gonna need to talk about this.
I let
Like,
people
I'm
have their
like,
opinions.
no, yeah. But
Wrong
yeah, for me,
opinions.
she was like. I mean, she is like the she's the sisterly presence, right?
Yeah.
That like all the brothers kind of have to
Mhm.
like
Sees
just respect.
everything.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
she sees everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just dug her role in it. Like
Mhm.
All the actors embodied those characters perfectly. Even
Yeah.
Corey Stoll as the older brother,
Yeah.
yeah.
who's like a little more serious,
Right.
can't be as fun.
Yeah, dude, when they're smoking dope in
Yeah.
the temple, it's like, I used to be so much fun. And they're just like,
Not
you're
really,
not
dude.
fun.
Right. Never ever fun.
Yeah, there's just like instant relatability for me. I mean, we come from a big family too,
Yeah.
so like just having those
Yeah.
familial like relationships,
Yeah.
especially as we get older too. It's like you feel the age now and like
Yeah.
how you grow and differently and stuff
For
like
sure.
that.
Right.
For sure. That's what I really enjoyed because like there was always intimate moments between all the characters.
Yeah.
And like you could tell the direct effects and like the kind of indirect effects all the characters had on each other.
Yeah.
Just even like short bursts of dialogue or like events, like crazy things happen. The
Right.
kid throwing shit on
Right.
her husband and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of every best moment I had for this movie, it was between just like not all of them, but like between certain characters.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just I don't know how to explain it because every movie has relationships, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just the dialogue and just the feelings it gave you.
It's like the tone of this movie.
Yeah.
Like maybe like 5 minutes in, I was like, "This is a movie I'm gonna put on just in the background when I'm like feeling like I just need to sit and like enjoy it and
Yeah.
bask in emotion."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like it just, and especially the score by Michael Giacchino, I think that added a lot. He's the guy who did like Lost and some other stuff like
Yeah.
that. Scores, just overall, just added that vibe, that tone
Mhm.
to the feel of it, and it just like set the background for what you need to feel, kind of, for the entire movie.
Mhm.
And at the end, what I really, really liked was, Adam Driver. He's the goofy one. He's trying to just, be the lighthearted aspect of it. But when he puts his forehead with Jason Bateman, I'm like,
Mm.
damn.
Like,
'Cause
is
you
this
can tell he's
is this
breaking down a
sarcastic,
little
Yeah.
or- It's like we can
And-
say it, we can tell each other it is.
Right.
or what
Yeah.
is it?
It was just like, man, that felt good. That felt good to
Mhm.
watch.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it more than I thought. I thought it was just going to be, another run of the mill comedy,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Right.
So, but
It was more
yeah.
dramatic,
It
I
was,
feel like.
For
But
sure.
Yeah.
a lot of really good comedies or dramas.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
Because it's like real instead of
highs
like
and
them
lows.
trying to be funny,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Plus, when you're dealing with grief, I mean,
Yeah.
everyone deals with
Yeah.
grief differently, so it's
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a good aspect. Each character dealt with it, in their own
Right.
way.
That was like the perfect way to end it too. With the
Yeah.
theme of the movie, I wrote the lines: "It's okay to cry or laugh. There's no correct response."
Yeah.
like,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly what the movie's about. Like
Yep.
laughing, crying together, and
Yeah.
growing.
Dude, Jane Fonda too.
Yeah.
Keeping it
Bro,
together.
I
Yeah.
love her
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much. Have you
She's
guys
great.
seen Grace and Frankie?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
So good. But
Yeah.
I just love her so much. I feel like though they underused her and Catherine Hahn and Rose Byrne.
Are they bigger in the book a little bit? Or
It's not even about the book. Just I know how, because I love them as actresses.
Yeah.
for sure.
And I don't know. I just feel like they could have done more with their characters.
I kind of felt
I get you.
similar with Jane Fonda too, because I mean it was shocking and impactful when she like kissed her neighbor friend
Right,
and everything.
yeah.
But they're just a little more like teasing it or like leading into
It just
that.
was sudden.
Yeah, right.
It didn't
Yeah.
feel like that. Didn't have as much like gravitas as
Yeah.
all the
Right.
other emotion that's happening in the movie. It
Right.
just
We
was like,
weren't
oh,
hinted at it.
There
Okay.
were like overall, I was like super invested in all the drama and the relationship stuff. But then there were moments where it dipped into like melodrama, or almost like what's like the weekly soap opera kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It like dipped into there just a couple times, especially when Timothy Olyphant and Tina Fey were talking.
Yeah.
That's where I really felt it. But overall, I was just like, oh, it was a little cheesy, a little too much, and then they pulled it back up, and they're like, all right, we're back to the real kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
I really feel like they underused Timothy Olyphant.
I was
Really?
going to say
Oh,
that
yeah,
I think
him too.
the only reason that sold for me was because it was
him.
Timothy Olyphant.
That
Mhm.
dude.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I needed to
killed
see a
it.
different actor. I don't know. Maybe that's
Yeah.
for me. I don't know.
I think he's just a good actor.
I love
I,
him.
yeah,
I love him
I think
so
he's
much.
great.
Yeah.
Which is why when I saw that he was part of the cast, I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
I
did not
barely
expect
saw him, you know.
But
and
yeah,
it's-
right.
The first like 10 minutes, every 30 seconds, there's a new huge actor
Yeah,
that shows up.
right.
Yeah,
like
that
just
was
new
kept
faces. that
surprising
don't
me.
stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I think Catherine Hahn was a little underutilized.
Yeah.
And yeah, probably Rose Byrne a little bit too.
Yeah.
It is hard when you have so many.
That's a star-studded cast.
It's
really.
Right.
a huge cast, and you have to have dramatic arcs for all the characters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even with Catherine Hahn's character, how she wants to have a baby, they
Yeah.
did a lot of legwork to make that work.
Right.
But then overall, you might not have seen enough to make it like
Right.
justified or
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah.
Made it hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all together though, I really like. I think what my biggest takeaway was obviously Jason Bateman. I mean,
Right.
he
Yeah.
definitely he's a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
Even,
you carried it.
but I've
Yeah.
liked him before I watched this. So watching this, I'm like, dang, if I would have watched this before like Horrible Bosses or something, I would have been like, this guy's got something. You know,
Right.
I really like that. Now as his career is evolving and listening to his podcast too,
Mhm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I love this guy.
Yeah,
you know,
for
something
sure.
about him that I just really enjoy. So
Yeah.
him and Jason Sudeikis. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, and
Yeah.
Dak Shepard is the perfect dickhead
Oh, right,
boss.
yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. yeah. I like that scene where he goes in and they're just banging, and then he walks in and he sits down for a second.
Just has the cake there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's absorbing what's happening. He's
Right.
like, damn, this is actually happening, you know? But yeah, that was just a good,
I threw you right in, just boom, cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah.
This is my first time on
the
our side.
Oh.
Yeah. I really liked that. It was like, I got $43 says you guys can't flip that guy's car. He's like, what do you do to you? Well, like, fucked my wife. And I was like, oh, dude, we'll do it for free, man. Like,
Yeah, that was good.
Mhm.
I gave it 4, and then I bumped it to 3.5. I could go back to
I was
4.
going to say,
though.
I put it at 3.5, but it's
I don't
easily
know.
justified, I think, to put it at a 4.
I've
So-
been bopping
yeah.
between 4 and 3.5.
Yeah.
Really?
Myself.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like waffling between those.
Yeah. I
Couldn't
mean, movies
decide.
are all about taste at the end of the day,
Right.
and your own preferences. And this one just kind of maybe hit me a little more, and I
Yeah.
just enjoyed
Yeah.
it more. You know?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Good pick. Good pick.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
stinker this
Thank
week
you.
was Creature.
Yup.
Yeah.
Man.
Wah, wah,
Well,
wah.
That's the
Chinatown,
magic of
I'm
the-
going to put Chinatown as a stinker. for me.
Stinker? Wow.
I don't know. I just
Double
something
stinker
about
just
this
another
it.
letdown, really.
It was. It was just I wanted more of it because like
Overhyped.
you said, everyone's like, "Oh, it's a classic.
Yeah.
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 You gotta love it." No, I don't have to.
No,
Exactly.
honestly, though, like me, Miro and the Dying Girl, and This Is Where I Leave You, those just brought me up.
Yeah.
You know, like those, after
Felt
watching
good.
those two
Those-
shitty ones, I was like, all right, at least
Those
we
were the
got-
first two I watched.
Oh, you did?
Really?
And
Oh,
I
yeah,
watched
I did the
Creature in
reverse.
Chinatown. I was like,
Oh.
damn, this sucks. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think I did Chinatown and This Is Where I Leave You the last because I've watched them both already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
just love This Is Where I Leave You.
It's
it was really
I
good.
want to read
really
it
good.
again.
Yeah.
It's just so relatable.
Hmm.
I love Adam Driver. Like,
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
When he
As an
drives up to
actor.
the funeral, Mommy!
Yeah. Mommy.
shit, mommy.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah.
tune in next week, see what stinker we pick for
Yeah.
the next
Yeah.
movie chest.
Next 4, see what comes out of the
Yeah.
chest.
yeah,
I look forward to it
Yeah.
Yeah.
every week.
me too.
Yeah,
Thanks for
keep
joining
following
us.
Yeah. Like and subscribe, guys.
Please.
All right, there you go. Episode 4. Thanks for tuning in, girls and gals. I know we have just as much fun reviewing and watching these films as you guys might have listening. And if you have any friends who are interested in movies as much as we are, let them know. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks again.